Sithokoze emakhosini amakhulu, emakhosini amahle, umakhosi Bhubesi lokhuluma nalo suku namhlanje. I'm welcoming everyone once again, and today's discussion will be based on womanhood. So first and foremost, I want to welcome everyone once again into the discussion, and I want to start off with the process of the coming of age of a young lady. That is when she starts to undergo puberty. There is a ritual that is performed when a young lady starts her period, or a girl child starts her period. In my culture, we call that umhlonyane, and that's where we offer a goat to acknowledge that she's now starting a period, and we involve the ancestors. We show them gratitude, and we ask them to guard the girl child, to make her prosperous, to keep her sacred and pure, and we ask for blessings over her life, and we ask for health, good health. And this is a very significant ritual because you must understand that as a woman or as a girl child, you are born with a womb. And I want to say this with sensitivity to women who aren't born with a womb, or who are born with a womb but which has differences compared to what we would call a normal womb or a healthy womb. And this in no way is insinuating any insult to any other woman, because it doesn't make you any less of a woman. But I want to make this very clear, is that the womb of a woman, girl child, lady, doesn't matter, but the womb of a girl child is a very, very, very spiritually deep phenomenon. And we need to know that the womb of a woman is a portal of abundance. And the reason that we say this is because only a woman has been equipped and has been anointed deeply enough, even spiritually, to be able to bring life into this world. And this in no way means that we're throwing shade on men, or on boys, or on young men, because we need their seed to fertilize the egg inside a woman, so that life can then be conceived in the form of a child or a baby. But we're not talking about conception today. We're talking about the depth of the womb of a woman or a girl child. And so when you've gone through the process of conducting the ritual called umhlonyan, coming of age, when you step into puberty, when you start your period, your breasts start to take shape, they start to grow, you notice certain changes in your body, you start to grow maybe bigger hips, maybe you start to grow a bigger bum, you start to take a certain shape because you are coming of age, you are growing up, you're moving into another state, physically and spiritually. So that's why we perform the ritual of umhlonyan. Now the next ritual that is performed for a girl child is called umemulo, which is also another coming of age, a ritual where we now acknowledge that this girl child is now stepping out of the status of being a girl child and becoming a young woman. This means that also she is also acknowledged within the community as someone who may now be able to start dating and may be ready for marriage. She's been equipped with all that she needs to be equipped with by her family to be able to start entering the phase of womanhood or dating. And these rituals are very significant spiritually, because if you haven't had the ritual of Umhlonyane performed for you, or the ritual of Umemule performed for you, or even both, there are certain experiences that you will undergo as a girl child, and they are not pleasant. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you as a girl child, but it's just simply because spiritually you have not been elevated, so that people in the community and people anywhere and everywhere else where you find yourself can acknowledge you spiritually as someone who has matured enough emotionally, spiritually, soulfully, physically, even mentally, to say that you are now viewed a certain way, you are vibrating at a certain frequency, at a certain level, which makes you to be seen a certain way by men or by women, depending on your preference of sexuality. So, the significance of these two rituals celebrate the womb of a woman, because the first one, as I've already explained, Mhlonyan, is the coming of age. We acknowledge that a woman is entering the period of menstruation, or starting a menstrual cycle, and she will continue to go through the cycle monthly as long as her cycle is consistent, even if it's not, because we all are aware that sometimes your cycle may not be consistent for whatever reasons, but there is help that is available for that type of a situation, because once we find the underlying cause or the root cause behind that, then we can address it and then we move forward. So, coming back then to now this ritual of umemulo, that now enables you to say in the community you are available, for lack of a better term, to start dating or to start being seen by young men, to start being approached by young men for romantic purposes, or if you are someone who prefers to date women or you don't identify as a gender, that's fine. But biologically, you have a womb and you are identified as a woman biologically, even if you do not identify with it, a gender. That's okay. That's your own choice, which you make in this day and age, and nobody can contest that. That's acceptable. So the power of these two rituals is that once you start being seen in that light as someone who is now you're a woman, even the way you carry yourself is different. Um, we might find that you might be susceptible to energies of maybe social pressures and so on and so forth. You're expected to be able to do certain things. You're expected to be able to clean, you must be able to cook, you must be able to wash your clothes and iron your clothes and that of your family, etc. You are expected to dress a certain way, you must present yourself a certain way, you must speak a certain way, you must sit a certain way, you must conduct yourself a certain way, you can't be found in certain spaces, and so on and so forth. And these are all restrictions that are placed upon us by our families or by even our societies outside, because these are social conditions of expectation. And now in this day and age, those some of those things we need to review them, because they really just limit the growth of a girl child or of a woman. They don't enhance her and they don't encourage her to be herself and to exercise her self expression freely. Um, they don't encourage the girl child to be able to flourish in society as much as she would have, or if she could have, if she felt free enough, if she felt supported, if she felt loved, if she felt accepted. So there's certain conditions that we have in society that we've placed as expectations on the girl child, and some of these need to be reviewed, because later on some of these things will come back and they become issues. For example, when a woman is entering a relationship for the first time or has been entering in and out of relationships for various different reasons, there's some issues that she might have faced in her upbringing, which become, they create a stigma in her view of life and in her view of relationships, which makes or creates a stumbling block going forward. So These are things that we should really take time to address as women and as girl children, or as mothers, or as parents, or as aunts, as sisters, so that we create safe spaces of self expression for one another, that we don't judge one another, that we don't place labels and categorize and box one another, because this limits a person's self expression, and more especially, it kills a woman's self esteem, it kills her dignity, it taints her integrity. And these are core values, these are core characteristics within her, which build her as a person. They create a foundation to enable her to flourish as a person in society. So I want to encourage us as women, as girl children, as sisters, to enable one another to embrace each other's beauty, embrace each other's flaws, compliment another woman, tell her that she's beautiful. Tell her that she has a great figure. You love her hair. She has beautiful eyes. You love the way she carries herself. She has a very, wonderful way of expressing herself. She's eloquent. She's she does something well. Maybe she sings well, or she's she dances well, for an example. These are things that we need to celebrate in one another as women, and not look for flaws in another woman, and not look for reasons to say that another woman should be rejected in a space where women have come together or have gathered to spend time with one another, because this creates alienation between a group of women, and it makes other people to feel uncomfortable around you if you're that type of a person that wants to place judgment on other people. But if you're the type of person who wants to encourage another woman to embrace her ethnicity and her womanhood, then you will create a safe space where she can express herself in a positive manner, in a manner which positively influences even the other women and even yourself in this gathering, that will make them to be able to accept certain flaws about themselves, or even improve on them if they want to, or even view them differently. Because sometimes a woman might say, my breasts are they are too small, they are not large enough compared to so and so. Whereas you shouldn't even be comparing the size of your breasts in the first place, because your build is different altogether. The design that you have as a woman is completely different. In fact, everything about you is just different and unique. And therefore, why are you comparing yourself to the next person? You don't know what's coming in the future. Some people grew up with large breasts, and when they grow much older, they have to have back operations, because the breasts give them back pain. So just be careful of what you wish for. Embrace your own body, embrace yourself, your voice, your eyes, everything, that you can love yourself, celebrate yourself, so that you can love the next person and celebrate the next person, so that you can find beauty in the next person. And so all of it starts within you. All of it starts within you. You have a womb, which is a portal of abundance, and this is something that must be celebrated. When a woman marries into a family, for example, this portal of abundance is so significant, because when she starts to have children, children are blessing. They are blessing. They are considered to be blessings in any shape, way, or form in any family. Children will always be a blessing. And great things can come from children, because you never know who you have birthed through your womb. You do not know who you have birthed through your womb. You do not know your seed until you see it grow in front of you. And it's important that you nurture it, that you put it under the sun, that you water it, that you prune it, that you keep it upright. And this is how we need to treat one another as women, so that we can celebrate each other. And then in that way, we create positive spaces for one another. We can help one another. We can grow one another. We can celebrate one another. This will even influence men and how they view women, because they will see that these women, when they have an issue, they're able to address it amongst themselves, or when there's an issue that is being discussed, they're able to stand together with one voice. They stand for a cause. It's not another woman against another woman. It's a woman standing with another woman in support of a cause. It doesn't need to be complicated. Let's celebrate one another. Thank you. Sithokoze emakhosini amakhulu, emakhosini amahle. Makhosi uBhubesi lo ukhuluma nalo suku namhlanje. Ngiyathemba ukuthi inkulumo yethu imukeleke kahle phakathi kwenu nonke.
Kuthi lava kuye wakhanye ekudeni. Kuthi lava wakazimulo ngosomhlophe. Ngazibona nami ngifanele ukungena kuwe. Ebusuku